Hey everyone, welcome back to CJRaceCars YouTube channel. As you can see, we're in front of our jig, and that is because Jamie Hancock's 69 Camaro is ready to come off the jig, and we have big news. Today, we will probably put the first tubes on this jig for a new project. And that project is another 69 Camaro. It'll be pretty similar to this car, except for it's gonna be screw blown, which is, if you've ever seen screw blower cars run, they're obnoxiously loud and extremely fast, make a bunch of power. And that's kind of where a lot of people are going lately. A lot of people are getting away from the nitrous stuff or the turbo stuff, and even the Pro Charge stuff, because the screw blowers themselves, they're hard to hurt. Unfortunately, they're hard to get also. So thankfully, they don't get hurt very often, but they just work really well. And we'll explain more as we go through this project, why they work really well, and what the differences is from this car to a screw blown car, which we've kind of mentioned before. The good thing is with this car is, when we started Eagle, we didn't really video the very beginning. The first video we did, I believe, almost had the chassis done. So Travis being here full time now, we're able to show you every step of the way. And he even got a GoPro up on a wall, and he's gonna time lapse the entire build. So this will be really cool to have a time lapse start to finish, explain how we start the chassis, explain why things go where they go, and to get to build a screw blower car, because they are really cool. We actually have one over there that we'll show you here in a minute that we're doing a few changes on. It's one that David Reese built. The driver that got it doesn't fit the seat that was in it, so we're just moving the seat and doing some other small stuff. Show you that in a little bit, but right now we're gonna get this car off the jig and explain to you some of the differences between Jamie's nitrous car and the new screw blower car we're gonna start on. Just a few things that are gonna be different from Jamie's nitrous car to the screw blower car we're gonna do. As you can see, which we might have mentioned in Cletus's car, the motor placement on Cletus's car is 82 inches. And when I say 82 inches, that 82 inches is from the axle center line to the back of the engine block, or the mid plate, which is up here. On this car, you can tell if you watched Cletus's videos, this is a lot deeper here. So this motor placement is actually 87 inches. And the reason for that is that's where the nitrous combination needs to be to work on a small tire, have the weight up there to work. The good thing about the blower car, we can move that motor placement back to 82 or even 80, and the car will still really work really well because of the downforce the headers make, which is another thing we're gonna do sometime on this channel. We're gonna figure out how to test how much downforce each combo makes. I don't really know how yet, but I'd like to really test that and see what the differences are. So if you moved a nitrous car back to 80, you would have a terrible problem with it climbing a ring gear and not want to keep the front end down. It'd be extremely hard to get after it up front and it not just try to flip over backwards, basically. With a screw blower car, you can move that weight back really far and it still make enough downforce where it doesn't try to do anything crazy. And one of the benefits with that is if you're on a track that's not as great as a really good track and you have more weight on the rear tires, it'll help you get down a track that's not as good. So if we can move the motor back, we have weight on the back, weight on the front. Also, with a screw blower car, I think you gotta weigh 25.75 in RVW. With a nitrous car, you only have to weigh 22.50. So, which is pretty much impossible. You might be able to get right there with a driver depending on how big the driver is. But if you need to add weight to the back on a nitrous car, you really can't, because then you'd be overweight. But if you build a lightweight screw blower car and you need to add weight wherever, you can. So to start with, you're closer to 50-50 weight front and rear tire, which puts a lot more weight on the rear tire than you would be with a nitrous car that's 56, 58, or whatever. I mean, you have a nitrous car that has a 700-pound engine, just guessing it's gotta be right around there somewhere, 7 inches farther forward than you have a screw blower. So big difference there. It'll make a lot more sense when we start building everything and putting tubes on a jig, which will probably be today or first thing tomorrow. So just wanted to go over the plan with this car, what it's gonna get and what the expectations are. Right now, we can't say who the owner of this car is, but we may be able to down the road. This is gonna be a 69 Camaro for no time. So these guys are gonna grudge race. They don't want anyone to know how fast they've been, because that's kind of the point, right? They have big shootouts, which one of our cars just won $200,000 in one weekend, 100,000 on a grudge race and 100,000 shootout. So these no time races are huge right now and a lot of money in them. So explains why they're wanting to build one. And again, the screw blower, especially in a no time, no rules, is definitely the way to go, because there's no weight. So you can get a screw that makes more power than a nitrous car, a lot lighter than it would have to be in a class. And it's really hard for a nitrous car or even a turbo car to keep up. And these no time cars are on a 275, so a 28-inch tall radial. And it's absolutely insane how fast these guys go. It's crazy. But that's a little intro. Let's go check out the other car, and it'll make a little more sense on what the plan is for this car. Today's video is sponsored by Factor. Factor makes meeting your nutritional goals easier than ever by delivering fresh, never frozen, dietitian-approved meals right to your doorstep. A team of gourmet chefs create each meal using only ingredients with integrity to help you feel your best all day long. Factor takes all the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success. Skip the grocery stores and all the messy prep work and cooking, and instead get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. For me, being busy all the time, the best part about Factor is it only takes 2 minutes to have a nice, healthy meal that not only tastes great, but it makes me feel great too. Factor now offers loads of snack options too, such as breakfast, smoothies, juices, small bites, and more to keep me going no matter what's on my schedule. Factor also offers these protein shakes and actually taste really good. Head to factor75.com or use the link below and use the code CJRaceCars50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month of orders. That's code CJRaceCars50 at factor75.com to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month of orders. Thanks again to Factor for sponsoring today's video. So basically our new 69 Camaro build that we're gonna be doing is gonna be a similar combination to this. Some of you guys on here have ever seen a screw blown combination, but look how massive. This thing just looks mean sitting here. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. If you've ever heard one, they're obnoxiously loud. When they roll through the burnout and they do a burnout, they blow everybody's hats off. It's incredible. These things are obnoxious. I don't think I'd want to drive one, to be honest with you. They're just rowdy. But this is a screw-blown Noonan new Camaro. I think this car was only built about 6 months ago. Reese Brothers built this car. We do a lot of work with Reese Brothers on the parts side, and these guys build a lot of cars. I don't know how many people they have, but I think they build 10 to 15 cars a year, which is absolutely insane. I don't know how they do it, but I'm glad they do it because the industry needs more cars out there. Reese built the whole car, and the only reason we even have it here is a customer that we had from the past bought it, and they just needed the seat moved. It's a one-day job. Just lean the seat forward a little bit, so that's what Danny's doing back there. And we're also changing the steering column quick connect to a motion quick connect, which if you watched Cletus's video when we did the steering, they're awesome. There's when we put that 6-inch extension on there, there's no slop in them. They're really solid. So we talked him into that. He's going to switch that out. Danny's finishing up the seat, and he's actually got a race next week in Georgia. This car runs RVW and goes really fast. I think it's been 355. So basically it's been 0 to 210 miles an hour in 3.5 seconds. To put that into perspective, because like I think a Corvette does 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, this car goes 0 to 210 in 3.5 seconds. These cars are extremely fast. They go the first 60 feet in like 0.9 seconds. Insane. This car does have a 315, so it has a little bit bigger radial, like a 29 or 30-inch tall radial. The 69 Camaro will be pretty similar to this, except it'll have a 28, and it will have a steel roof and quarters. This is a fully carbon fiber body. This is basically a pro mod with a radial. On the 69 Camaro we're starting on, not sure on the engine yet. It may be a Noonan, it may be a Pro Line, not sure. We'll know soon, but we can start on the chassis without that because we do know engine location. We just don't know the exact engine yet. With the screw blower, we talked about just a few minutes ago, the screw blowers hold up really well, which is basically this part in here that shoves the air into the engine. They're very hard to get right now. I think there's been people have them on order for a year or two, so they are extremely expensive. I think if you wanted to buy one, they'd be double the price that they cost new just because you can't get them. Fortunately, they don't break very often. Everything breaks, but these don't break very often. So this is kind of a quick look at what the future is going to hold for us on this build. And look forward to doing the whole build on YouTube, start to finish. I wish we would have been able to start a little sooner on Cletus's car. The only reason we couldn't is because we had a tight deadline, and we wanted to get started. Was more important to making a deadline than the videos. Thankfully now we have Travis He's gonna make sure you guys get every bit of footage on this entire build, start to finish. And the people building that car will also be going to the track with them. So you guys will get to see that car run along with Cletus's car very soon. We'll go over here and check with Danny a little bit on what he's doing with the seat. And then we're gonna get his car off the jig and start putting some tubes on it. Just a quick rundown on what Danny's doing. Again, pretty simple job for the most part, nothing too crazy. The owner of this car that bought it is just a little shorter, I think, than the driver that the car was built for. So we just wanted the seat leaned up. He actually fitted and drove it last week and he was okay with it. He just, for comfort, wanted to move the seat basically up, right? The bottom stayed pretty similar.
Yeah, when he was sitting in the seat, when he launched the car, it shoved his head back against the roll bar right here. And so he doesn't like driving like this where he's looking more up. He wants his back to be up, but he doesn't want to make the bottom of the seat go farther back. You could have took the seat and scooted the bottom in and made it more straight, but he didn't want to lose leg room because he's already getting short on leg room. So this is pretty much where it was at, maybe a tiny bit even forward, and then we straightened up the back of the seat. It used to be right back against the bar. So what I'm having to do now is make a bar that's going to go around behind it, and then it'll switch to that bar with a couple of supports back here, and then I have to put 2 tubes that run underneath the seat up to here. And we reused basically his front mount with some modifications. That's kind of what we're doing. It's not hard, it's just very time consuming because of all the weird angles and trying to make everything level in the car.
So nothing too major. This car will be out of here probably tomorrow morning. We won't have the quick connect for the steering until tomorrow morning. So as soon as we get that, we'll weld this on and he'll come pick it up and he'll be at the next race. So we've kind of touched on this before. This is why we do an adjustable column, adjustable pedals, and that kind of helps both ways. With him, the pedals are adjusted all the way in and still wasn't quite enough to make them comfortable. You could adjust some of that with a pouring seat. We don't do our own pouring seats, and the guy we use is kind of far to fly him in for one car on a just a day or two notice. So we're moving the seat. Could have been changed with a pour-in, but again, a few days notice. He just went testing last week. They just got his car together and are racing next week. So finish moving up the seat. We'll keep you guys posted on how he does. I think he's gonna do really good. David Reese is actually the one setting up the car and doing all the tuning also, so, which he's got a ton of experience with screw stuff. I think he went 350 flat or 351 like 3 or 4 years ago with a similar combination. So they got a pretty good handle on this, and I think they'll do just fine. It's gonna be rear heavy for sure. You might have to clamp it. Danny, is it gonna? Yeah. You might have to clamp it to that front fork.
You just gotta go far enough to put it on the stand.
Can I come straight back enough to get on the stand? Just like that. I like it. All right, as you can see, the car is off the jig and it is next door to continue on in its life. And Troy's cleaning up some stuff from where the bolts messed up those fixtures a little bit and setting it to a new ride height. The other car, the chassis, was 5 inches off the jig. This one's gonna be 4 inches. Ride height will be 3 to the rocker instead of 4 like the other car. The other car was built to run small tires or big tires. This one's probably only gonna see little tires. Down the road, we could change some stuff and make it for big tires if we wanted to, but for now, it's gonna be small tires. So, as we get this fixture all lined up, clean everything up, we'll mark where our motor plate's gonna be, because it's gonna be a little different than the last car. Other than that, the only difference is with the chassis is gonna be, we narrowed the hoop up a tiny bit, which is what we did on Cletus's car. Jamie's car was built for a narrower door. The Van O doors are a little wider, so we narrowed the hoop up. I think it's about 4 inches, about 1.75 inches each side, so 3.5 inches. Other than that, that's it. We already got some stuff Danny bent, cross member hoop, frame rails are polished. We're starting putting that stuff in. Taylor said give it 3 or 4 days and this thing will be all fabbed up, welded. Daniel.
I didn't say nothing.
That's what Danny said.
Well, that's fine. That's Danny.
Danny said he'll have it fit. You weld it 3 or 4 days together, both of you guys. Done.
No.
So, 5 days. We're gonna take it easy on this one. So, no, but seriously, we just want to introduce you to the new build. It's probably only the 3rd screw blower car we've built, so be a really cool build. The no time stuff's big, like we said, and we're gonna walk you guys through every step of the way. The next video you see will be us explaining where to start the chassis and how we determine where tubes go and why they go where they go and all that fun stuff. So we'll probably do an update once a week or so. It won't be as often as we've been doing Cletus updates because we will have updates on his car. We'll have Leroy coming up. We got stuff coming up on the on Siegel eventually. We've been collecting parts and it's gonna come down
One day.
out of the rafters and continue its life hopefully here soon. The golf cart is also, as we speak, getting worked on the other side, so we'll have other stuff. This is a lot bigger project and we will do detailed updates hopefully once a week as long as we can. So no parts hold up, stuff like that, which we shouldn't have. I think we'll have an engine in about 30 days. GoPro's on over there, time lapse of the full build. Travis's, and make sure you guys see everything. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.